Yo, 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 yo. All right. I'm not gonna lie. I completely regret not filming my entire morning. And really the point in what I was wanting to do with this whole live thing, anyways, going live on YouTube. But I was just so in the moment, it hadn't even crossed my mind to start filming it. So I don't really regret it, to be honest. But uh, in hindsight, I wish I would have. But I just got an agreement signed. And I've been scrambling all morning. It was a woman. I don't know if I caught this one on camera. I don't think I did. I think it was before I started doing these live things on YouTube. But I first spoke with her. I'm going to pull up in my dialer kind of the timeline because this all happened very quickly. I first cold called this woman on the 2nd of July, 11 days ago. She was actually in the hospital when I connected with her. So she kind of deferred to her husband. It seemed like her husband was going to be the ultimate decision maker on, the real estate transaction. So she had provided me with his number. I reached back out a few days later. I didn't connect with him, left him a voicemail, tried the woman's number a few days after that. And actually accidentally called her number because I have all these numbers in my dialer that I'm referring to when I go to dial back out. So I accidentally dialed her as opposed to him. And she let me know that yes, they were still interested, but requested a call back tomorrow morning when her husband was there so that all three of us could talk about it. So this was yesterday when she had requested a call back tomorrow morning. So I called her back this morning. Before I hopped on the phone, I know this isn't recommended by the pros, right? But this isn't something that I was really wanting to practice on with this lead. I know the pros recommend that you don't run comps until you actually connect with the person on the phone. But with me, I don't really feel comfortable doing that yet. Especially, I especially don't feel comfortable using my warmer leads as practice to do so. So something that I have kind of taken note of, mentally is that I'm wanting to get some practice in with that on my cold call sessions. So while I'm dialing my cold call sessions and somebody shows some interest, I'm going to try my best to use that as an opportunity to practice running comps while on the phone with these people. That way, like I said, I'm not kind of like using my warmer leads just in case I mess up, right? And I've done that before. I used to put this into practice a while back and I had messed up, right? I had missed a comp or misinterpreted a comp in the area and offered way more than I should have and made an offer way higher than I should have. It ended up being all right, right? Like nobody's gonna force me to buy their house. But then I ended up going back to that property and realizing that it was locked up too high, and I just let them know. But reconnected with the gentleman this morning. He owes, sounds like, about 48,000 on the mortgage. We agreed to 58,000 so that he can walk away with 10 after the mortgage is paid off. The place is in complete disrepair. He sounded very embarrassed about it. And I did my best to just reassure him that, that's exactly what we're looking for. And it was complicated. He's an older guy who isn't very technically savvy. So I'm there with him on the phone, like, hey, I'm sending this over for an electronic signature. Do you see it? You get it pulled up? Yeah, I see it. I have it pulled up. We went through the agreement line item by line item, made sure he understood everything that he was getting ready to sign off on. He understood. He had no questions. And then I said, okay, at the bottom, you'll see an area where it says click here to sign. And he says, okay, yeah, I see that. I'm clicking it. It's not doing anything though. And in my head, I'm like, Jesus, like just click the thing. And I'm clicking it. I'm clicking it. It's not working though. And I'm all right. Let me send it to you again, just in case there was something wrong with this one. Sent it back over to him. Yeah, it's not working. I'm left. Like I said, he's kind of an older gentleman. I'm left clicking it. Let me try to right click it. See if that works. I'm thinking to myself, that's not going to work. But then something that I had done on a previous property is I actually sent out my property specialist, quote unquote. It's a gentleman that I've connected with in the Houston area. I don't even know if I've mentioned before that that's the market I'm in, Houston. But I've connected with him, and he kind of operates as my property specialist, where he runs out to the properties, takes pictures, and documents it, puts it in a Google Drive folder for me, and I pay him for his time. So I had offered to him for this particular situation, let me send my property specialist out to you in person so that he can just bring you the agreement so that you can sign in person. And he was like, yeah, okay. Here's my property address for you so that he can show up. And I hadn't realized that he lives like a 4-hour drive away from his property that I'm purchasing here. So I said, that's not going to work. So I got on the horn, called every notary public in his area, eventually found somebody who was just a couple blocks away. This was, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of stressing because there's just all of this friction happening, whereas the electronic signature, it rids of all that friction, right? It's just as simple as click here to sign. But then things started happening, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that he is so agreeable that he's willing to go out of his way, hop in his car, go drive to it's a tax office, go drive over there. But it's a very small town, so he already knew. He was like, yeah, I think there's 3 notary publics in the area. It's 1, 2, or 3. And I was like, yeah. I spoke with somebody at number 1. He's like, oh yeah, I can be over there within the hour. So I emailed the tax office the paperwork, let them know the situation. They even they were going to do it for free. They accepted donations, they said. So I kicked them $20, and they were really appreciative of that, which is cool because I paid them ahead of time, and I like doing that. Right? You got to take care of your brokers. Anybody who's willing to help you out, you got to take care of them, let them know that it's worth their time. So I donated them $20 ahead of time, and they were really appreciative. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I was like, yeah, I called 5 other people, and you guys were the most responsive and the most willing to help. So, of course. And that way, when he shows up, they already know the drill, they know what's going on, and they're willing to stop what they're doing because I've already paid them $20, donation based. So he went in, signed off on it, and the woman at the tax office emailed me back the notarized copy. And now what the process is looking like now is his daughter actually lives in the property with her son. And now I'm needing to coordinate with her 2 days. One day, which hopefully will happen before the end of this week, I'll send out my property specialist, and he'll go in there and he'll take pictures and do everything that I talked about, kind of set the tone, right? And not only is he there to just do things procedurally, like take pictures, take a video walkthrough, upload it into a Google Drive for me, but he's also the face of the company, right? Because I am doing this virtually. So that was important to me. He's a really nice guy, very personable, and anybody who he's ever done business with thus far has really appreciated him and liked him. So he'll go out there and he'll be the face of the company and kind of feel her out, right? Something that the seller, the gentleman, had mentioned to me was that, and I hadn't mentioned that this wasn't something that I knew until this morning. They're actually being foreclosed on. So it is, time is of the essence. I don't think it's something so, serious where we need to get this done in a week. He was talking about September or December, where they're going to foreclose on him, and he'll probably have a specific date when it gets closer to that time. But he had let me know that, and that kind of opened my eyes to the fact that, this has been talked about amongst the family, right? It's not something where I just cold called them. And that's what I'm finding is those are going to be the best leads, right? Not people who you call and convince to sell the property. It's going to be people who have already thought about it, already had that conversation with their family. And that's exactly what happened in this case. So I just made sure with him, hey, I got his daughter's number so that I can coordinate with her directly. And I just asked him, hey, am I going to be catching your daughter by surprise when I call and say, hey, I'm buying the place? Or have you guys talked about that? And he's like, oh, no. With the foreclosure coming up, like we've talked about it. She has even mentioned before that she may want $1,000 to $1,500 to help her out in moving expenses. It's not necessarily something that I'm willing to do right now until I get word from cash buyers of where they're going to be at to know how much of an assignment fee I'm looking at. But that's pretty much where we're at now. Got the signed agreement. I'm gonna wait until we get pictures of the property and we can get a little bit of a buyer feedback before I go ahead and waste my escrow officer's time and submit it to title, because I've done that for 3 other properties, or two of the properties I submitted to title and then I ended up having to cancel the agreement and I just wasted everybody's time over there. So I'm really not wanting to do that. I let him know that pretty much. I said, hopefully we can get pictures taken and what have you by the end of the week. And that way I can get it submitted to title. I'm going to hold off until I get a visual on the place before submitting it to title. And then as long as everything checks out, I will, you can expect to be contacted by the escrow officer early next week so that they can communicate with you to get that mortgage paid off and anything else that's, outdated taxes, anything like that. So that's where that one's at. Pretty pumped. You can probably tell juices are flowing. I've been drinking this Vietnamese iced coffee all morning too. It has me buzzing. But yeah, man, I'm just keeping on top of this one now. Let him know I'll be in contact with him like every 3 to 5 days, just to give him an update, even if there isn't one to give him. I think that'll be important, just to kind of keep that strong line of communication with him, to let him know that he is on the top of my mind and I'm not just throwing him in the pile of all these other properties that I'm looking at. So yeah, gonna try to get the property specialist out there before the end of the week. Try to blast it out to my cash buyer list also before the end of the week, so that we can hopefully coordinate or schedule something for a cash buyer walkthrough, maybe this weekend or early next week. That way I can start getting some feedback and then start coordinating with my title company so that they can then reach out to the seller and start coordinating with him. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on here and kind of summarize. Like I said, I kind of regret not thinking about hopping on YouTube and filming the whole thing, because that, again, it was really my plan and my point of starting this channel in the first place, was to document the cold call all the way to the close. I don't think this was a cold call that I had filmed, but it was a great conversation. If my numbers are what they turn out to be, I think I'll probably be looking at like a 20,000 plus assignment fee, as long as I don't have to partner up with anybody. But that is something that I'm not going to shy away from. If it doesn't seem like I'm getting much traction and feedback from my buyers list, then I'm going to be sure to reach out to, I have a partner in Houston as well who works with a couple of hedge funds where they are just kind of quick to dish out money and are willing to buy at a much less of a discount, because for them it's more of a tax incentives, getting properties at a discount in general, and they have the funds on hand to do so. So they're typically, based off of my knowledge, based off of my self-education, the hedge funds are, as long as the property's in meets their criteria, those are the type of companies and people that are willing to pay a little bit more for the properties here. So gonna try my best to take it down by myself, not take it down, but find an end buyer by myself before I go to my JV partner. But I'm confident either way. I'm fairly certain. I feel really good about the conversation that I had with the seller, and we are there. The conversation was nothing but high vibes. I'm telling you, like, he's super excited, super committed, which is exactly what I want to hear. Right now, I don't have to feel like, with my prior agreements and prior contracts, properties that I got under contract, it seems like I was, even after I got the agreement signed, like I was having to convince them that it was a smart decision, or like really put their worries at ease. Whereas this guy is just excited for the close. He's looking forward to getting his money. I'll go ahead and pat myself on the back, because I think that I really did take note of those prior situations, and I implemented new, tactics or whatever this time around to really have that be the case, right? Talk about, what he plans on doing with the money, He's excited that everything's going to get taken care of. He's not going to get foreclosed on. All this, right? So he's excited and he's pumped, and I am too. So again, just wanted to hop on here, give a little update. Um, I'll try my best to remember that when something along the lines of this deal happens, that I hop on here. I do plan on giving the daughter a call within the next like hour or two. So I'll hop back on here and document that conversation. It's going to be the first time where I have possibly a cash for keys conversation. She's in there with her son. She works night shifts, so her father, the seller, says that she will likely be sleeping right now. So he asked that I give her a little bit of time to wake up. I'm gonna, let her know, hey, like I'm pretty sure you've been speaking with your father about the property. My name is Derek. I'll be the one purchasing it, and I just wanted to reach out to you, answer any questions that you may have about it, provide you some details, and kind of an expectation of the process that we have here, and want to make sure that I run that by you and coordinate with you, because I don't want to be intrusive by any means. I don't want to feel like I'm intruding on your personal space, anything like that. I'll let her know that we do need 2 days, 1 day for my property specialist to get out there and take pictures, and then the second day for all of our guys and gals to get out there and walk the property. And then I'm going to leave it up to her to see if she brings up the cash for keys situation. When I was speaking with her father, I let him know that it would likely have to come out of his end, his proceeds. And that's the stance I'm really taking, right? Because it's his daughter. Not saying that it's not appropriate to do cash for keys in this situation, because it seems like it would be. But the way that me and him are talking, and he's the owner of the property, right? The way me and him are talking is he's at the understanding that he's going to have to pay for her to move anyways, right? So at the end of the day, I would cut her a check, $1,000, to get her out of the property so that it can be delivered vacant to the end buyer. But I'm going to do my best to kind of put my foot down on that and let her know that it would be something that you would likely have to work out between you and your father, because the agreement is between me and him, and anything above and beyond what we have already agreed to would likely have to be discussed amongst you two. I'll see how she responds to that, because really at the end of the day, it is my responsibility. If I'm the buyer who's going to be assuming the role as landlord after close, then she's going to be my / whoever I assign it to's tenant. So it really does fall on me to handle it, or find a buyer who's willing to take the tenant in place, which they won't be, because it's going to be a fix and flipper who is going to want this property, not somebody who's going to invest in it for cash flow. And I doubt that she's even paying. Well, she's not paying rent. She's living rent free. So because they're falling behind, either she's living rent free. We didn't dig deep into it. Either she's living rent free, or paying such a reduced amount in the market rent in that area that it's causing the sellers to fall behind on their mortgage payments, because they've stopped making their mortgage payments, and which is why they're being foreclosed on. So I'll hop back on here in like an hour, maybe 2, so that I can document that conversation with the daughter, and hope that turns out to be a successful one. My goals in that one, and what I really hope to accomplish, is solely just to set expectations, let her know, and coordinate a date and time for us to get out there as soon as possible to take pictures, and then let her know that we will require 1 date beyond that to have a full property walkthrough, and let her know, it may be a madhouse. We may have 20-30 people out there, but it will only be 1 day, and it will only last an hour or 2 tops. That's how I'll approach that. But yeah, wish me luck. Feeling good about this one. Enough spread, enough margin on it to kind of finagle things if need be. But really hoping that it's just smooth sailing to the closing table here. So see you guys in like an hour or 2. Later.